Welcome back, kiddos. Happy New Year. It's been a while. We're back in black. Welcome to the 2-Act Podcast. I'm gothjon. This is Adi. Today, we are going to cover the first season of Oshi No Ko. It's more recent anime I liked so much I watched it weekly as it originally aired. So, straight up spoilers for season 1 of Oshi No Ko. Adi, what did you think of your first impressions of Oshi No Ko?
Welcome back. Directly going into first impressions. It's quite a show to talk about. Glad you picked it. My first impressions were like, man, sometimes it's best not to know anything about your past life. Because if you do, it'll consume you so much that you forget to live in your present.
Well
That's
said.
what I thought about it.
Yeah. Have you ever wondered about what it'd be like to be reincarnated?
That's a good question. I have.
Yeah.
I actually have. I wondered about this, especially when you think about what you might have been before or what sort of life you may have lived before, even though you can't know for sure. But sometimes you get an inkling, like you sense things.
Okay.
Maybe I was a adrenaline junkie in a past life, something like that. That might explain why I have the tendency to do like crazy shit.
I am not superstitious, so I don't believe in that, but it is what it is. It's fun for other folks.
It's fun. It's fun to like,
Was I a caterpillar in my previous life? Because in the previous life before that, I was a Nazi. It's whatever crazy shit. Yeah, that's why I don't believe in reincarnation. Because who knows? It could have been really bad. This is your punishment for what you did many lives ago. Speaking of reincarnation, that's the general premise of this show. It has gynecologist Goro. He works at this hospital. He is friends with a dying girl that's obsessed with an idol group, which is like a Japanese pop girl dancing group. They sing, they dance. There's an entire obsession with the fans. It's just like K-pop. It's all about the idea of the person and what they look like, what they do, what they eat, and all the interviews and all the TV and all that stuff that they're on. And she dies and he becomes obsessed with her favorite character, who just rolls into his hospital. And she's pregnant. Woo! But like I said earlier, spoilers, that 90 minutes.
I want to talk about that first episode before we dive into the whole season. First of all,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's not always common for many animes to do this, where they have a feature length pilot and then followed by the rest of the season. But at first I was kind of confused by what was happening. I was wondering why did they decide to essentially I felt like I was watching an entire season's worth of narrative packed in one TV movie, basically.
Yeah.
I was confused. I was like, wait, there's a lot going on here. Why
you looked at the runtime and you're like, holy fuck. Are all the episodes this long?
No, I didn't think that, but I was like, it's unusual to have this, particularly the first episode, to be that long, where it just feels like a self-contained story of itself.
Right.
Yeah. The first episode of the first season, which is almost like a feature-length movie, is essentially a self-contained story of itself. It kind of serves as a prologue for the remainder of the season. And while I appreciate how that transpires, because I think, when I started it, I wasn't really quite feeling it. I think I told you I found some of the characters to be questionable, like the doctor, he's kind of a lolicon.
Yeah, yep.
Kind of gives me PDF vibes.
I have an entire argument for that. Goro's
I know you do. No, he's not. He's not.
He's not.
He starts out as one, or he kind of feels like he could be
He
one,
seems like
and
that.
then
He's just a little creepy.
he's. I think he's a little bit more than creepy. He's a bit, obsessed. It's kind of ironic
Yeah.
because there's a stalker who stalks the idol Hoshino, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I thought her name was straight up AI.
AI.
But 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 yeah, no, she's an absolutely like magnetic presence in this.
Yeah,
I love
she's
the art
amazing.
style with her character, her eyes, her hair.
Yeah.
It's so majestic. So
Mm-hmm.
she's got the aura of a idol for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And to this doctor, he becomes a fan of her because of this patient that he deals with, who's a young girl who's terminally ill.
She's got like
And
cancer.
yeah, she's not got long to live, but at the same time, it's kind of sad because
Mm-hmm.
she's not really experienced life as one would want to, and despite that, she has her own hopes and dreams, and she looks at I as like a source of like warmth and inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, something about that conversation definitely struck something in the doctor, who also becomes a fan once he's introduced to, and then of course the young girl dies,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. But yeah, the big twist is like really, yeah, this she ends up in his hospital unannounced, pregnant with twins, and
With
she
the
wants
manager. He's
with
like,
the manager.
Did you knock her up?" And he's like, No, 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 no.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah, she's like 17.
She's 16, which is
16? Okay.
again, yeah,
Still,
she's 16.
it's kind of ick.
Which again is kind of creepy to me that,
Right.
I don't know,
It's
like that's the
better than what it
whole.
could be because the age of consent in Japan for a long time used to be like 14. It might even be
Yeah,
younger
but
than that.
that still
Yeah.
doesn't make it okay though, even if it
Right.
was. But anyways, I mean, not to talk about laws and stuff, but like
Right.
there is some weird shit that I do want to address with the characters, and I'm sure we'll get to it at some point.
Right.
But the way it progresses is, I think we should cover just in brief how that first episode, because I think it really sets the tone for the rest of the series, and especially how it like affects the main characters. Because this is a spoiler, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously what happens is, she admits herself in this hospital because she wants him to be a what do you
The
call it,
gynecologist. Gyne-
gynecologist
yep. You could just
to
say gyno for short.
gyno
Yep.
the
Gyno.
gyno to like deliver her babies, and he finds this like he feels like he's trusted with this
Mhm.
opportunity or whatever, this thing that he needs to do for her,
Yeah, that
and
he
he's
has
a
to
big
remember
fan.
that he's a doctor first before being a fan
A
at
fan.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Which
he does do a good job keeping that separation.
for the most part he
Yeah.
does, but you can see how it kind of reeks out of his character a little too. Like he is obsessed.
Yeah.
He's obviously, I don't know if it's purely infatuation, but there's certainly something that is about her eye, and I think a lot of people would in the story feel that way, that she has something about her, a sort of charm that's so
Yes. And
irresistible.
I have a very likable quote from her. Lies are the highest form of love. I Hoshino.
Wow. What do you think she meant by that? That lies are the highest.
The highest form of love. I think what she meant by that is a white lie is you're only helping because you're not trying to hurt somebody when you white lie. Like for instance, when your significant other asks, "Do I look fat in this?" You never say yes. You always say, "No,
No,
dear,
but
you look perfect." You know,
no, but that's
you're a
but that's kind of
yeah.
ignorance. But that's kind of
Yeah.
ignorant too.
Well, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But you get what I'm saying. Like it's
yeah, yeah. A white lie
she
is always
obviously
better than
doesn't
a.
love all her fans. No self-respecting person in like a popular medium, like somebody who has a lot of fans, They
like
are not in love with
OnlyFans
their
models.
fans. Yeah, they're not. Now there might be actors and actresses that everybody adores, and they could see that they do no evil, but I'm sure they got their own lives, their own messed up things. What goes on there in their head, we'll never know. Like Matthew
No,
Lillard or Keanu Reeves, you're just like, oh, they could do no evil. But behind closed doors, who knows? They
you
could
don't
be
know what demons
exactly.
everyone's
Keanu Reeves
facing
is
there.
probably drinking people's blood like Capri Sun. Yeah,
Drinking blood, no
yeah,
way.
yeah. To get back to Oshi No Ko, a deranged lunatic pushes the doctor off a cliff,
Yeah,
and
and he's
they,
as deranged as they come.
yep, he's a obsessed fan, which has reminded me a lot of if you've ever seen Perfect Blue.
Perfect
That
Blue. I was about to bring that up. There were so
yes,
many
yeah,
instantly brought back so many
yeah, so many
memories of
memories of it.
Perfect
Yep.
Blue, and even the way the stalker murderer looks is
Mm-hmm.
also kind of similar to that same stalker in Perfect Blue. And also what it says about, like, idol culture in pop
Yeah.
culture, and like the obsessiveness fans have with idols. Like back in Perfect Blue, it's literally more of a physical presence thing, and now that's changed with technology and how we have our own parasocial relationship with you know
YouTubers or Twitch
in you
streamers. Yeah. Yep.
streamers,
Yep.
models online, or
Mm-hmm.
celebrities who have a huge fan following through social media, and also how people have this parasocial relationship with true crime. It's kind of disturbing, the fact that we find guilty pleasure in seeing true crime, or I think I read a post somewhere recently that it's a major red flag if you watch true crime as a way to relax.
Yeah, my girl
So,
does. Which
well, I'd
I
be
don't
I'd be
fault her
I'd be
for.
careful. I'd be worried if I were you. But
Well, if she's gonna poison me, it'll be quick. Because she's watched all the good stuff, so she'll know how.
yeah. No, but coming back to the point of the white lie, I do want to say that I agree with that statement. I think a white lie, like, there's a lot of nuance behind that, and that's always better than a lie that's straight up, like,
You're like
blunt
a
and
lie
in
of
your.
malice. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Like you
sure.
lie
But
because you want something.
or you lie because you don't know how to face it. So
Right.
best thing to do is shut it out. But
Yeah.
it's like kind of a pick your poison situation.
Yep. Don't be a coward.
Yeah, but I think, but ultimately, that just, the more the show went on, the more it kind of changed my perception of I as a character, because in the first episode, she's a presence for sure, and we get
Mm-hmm.
to see so much about how much she's so empathetic as a person. She's kind, she's sweet, she's caring. She actually cares about
Well,
what she does,
she
and
wants the family that she never had.
yeah, for sure. And to see what happens with the doctor dying, and the doctor, I think before he could even, like, he tries to, he kind of makes, he susses it out that this guy's a stalker, and he's probably trying to, tail I's location. But before he could even, actually stop him, he gets murdered by this guy. They get into a chase, and I think he trips down a
Yeah, he gets
cliff.
like
He gets
pushed off a
pushed.
cliff. Yeah, he gets
Yeah, he gets
pushed.
pushed off, and he dies basically.
Mm-hmm.
And
He gets reincarnated.
y- yeah, he gets reincarnated as the little boy, the little
Yep.
son of
Yep.
I, one of the twins of I.
Aquamarine. Hoshino.
A
The blue
blonde
eyes.
little
Yep.
a blonde little blue kid with
Yep.
blue
Blue
eyes that
eyes.
has a star in it. And the
Yeah.
show is literally called My Star if you translate it in English.
Okay.
So I thought that would be interesting to
Interesting.
mention.
Mm.
I like the character design of having the star in his eye, specifically one of his eyes,
Yep.
and I just
And then
I realized as the show went that you could tell what emotion he's feeling based on the color of the star
If
in
it's
his
black
eye,
or
in the
white,
pupil.
if it's black,
Yeah, yeah.
run.
Yeah.
And
That's such a
he
cool
has
character design.
yeah, I think so too. And his sister is born at the same time, his twin sister Ruby, who
Ruby.
I don't know in the anime if they ever find out who their original identities are, but yeah, she is the dying patient that got him into
Yeah.
I. So they're
Yeah.
both super fans, being the children of an idol.
Yeah, they are. Now, you'd say you I think you totally feel this is bullshit, but the way it comes off is like these three are literally karmically connected. Even though that makes no sense, right?
Okay.
You know, I don't know if people believe in this sort of thing, but
Mm.
it's like, what are the odds of like these two characters who both have something in common, which is their
Well, if
fan following of I, and then they get reincarnated as their kids.
it's
I
a
mean, her
plot
kids.
contrivance, I don't think you really have to read that much into it, but I see what you're saying.
It's interesting because I think
Hmm.
one of the things that I wanted to was more invested in is like how she still, despite her death in the first episode, the way it ends, she still is a very significantly looming presence in the rest of
Mhm.
the season. You can
Mhm.
sense her, you can sense her character and how much that affects the show, despite her not being alive and, being in the show like physically. But
Mhm.
that just goes to show that they did well in really building up her character in that first episode. That's not always easy to do, to have like
Right.
a character who makes strong impression in the limited time they have, and then you still feel their presence for the remainder of the show.
Yeah.
So I thought
She
that was,
gets murdered by the same guy that murdered Goro.
yeah, literally it kind of ends. So it's
Yeah.
sort of the way the story moves forward is like these kids are a well kept secret because the management don't want the world to know that she's a mother.
Yeah.
So
The manager, they just say, "Oh, they're my kids," to save
yeah,
face.
they're kind of
And they're
raised in
talking babies.
quarantine.
It's anime. Don't be surprised.
Yeah,
And
it's
Aqua
it's a bit
scares
funny.
the manager's wife because she's about to like blow the pregnancy for money. And to keep her
Yeah,
quiet, they scare her by using like Shakespearean talk, which I thought that was awesome.
that's funny. I mean, I think it's like it's a bit far fetched, but yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fact
yeah,
that
yeah,
he
yeah.
remembers, the fact that he's got an adult like consciousness already in
Exactly.
this toddler's
And
body is
because he doesn't want to be a lecherous scum and get breastfed.
what was
And
that about? That would
well,
have been that would have been even more like
right. Well,
weird.
that's why Goro isn't disgusting. All right. Now I'm going to talk about it for a
It's
second.
still kind of
Uh,
disgusting because, oh, actually,
you
you
compare him
say
to other reincarnated characters from different anime. Okay. So one of my favorite isekai anime is called Mashuko Tensei. The main character of that, his name's Rudy. He is the most detestable incel in the first season. He gets better, but you can't. It's like comparing oranges to apples. It's like Goro. He's like he can do no wrong compared to this guy. There's a lot of like other reincarnated characters that because of their previous life, they're scum.
yeah, but you do realize that he kind of has an Oedipus complex. I don't know if you
Mm.
heard the term before, but
Familiar.
he's literally in love with his mother, who
Yep.
is I.
Yep.
And
Yep. It's
even the
Freud.
women he prefers, or later on in the season when he's in that dating show,
Mm.
and they're all trying to like win his love over or
Yep.
whatever. He literally has a preference. And I think there's a scene where he says like where they're all debating about, oh, what's his type and who's he into? And he
Eyes type.
literally straight up describes I. That's what he does. I mean, I know the character.
Yeah.
So what I find interesting, right, about this character is he's reincarnated, and
Mm.
after what happens, up until the point where his mother hasn't died, I wasn't sold on his character. I thought he
Mhm.
was kind of like, okay, well, he's reincarnated. He's got memories of his past life,
Right.
and I think it's like an odd dynamic, really. I didn't understand how that was going to transpire, but what really saved that first episode, and I think hooks a lot of people, is the fact that she gets killed off,
Yeah,
and that in
and
turn.
that scene messes me up every time I watch it. I've seen this
Oh
anime
yeah,
4
yeah, yeah,
times. Every
yeah.
time it happens, I'm just like,
It's a
"God damn it."
brutal. But for me, like, I had a hard time really getting into that first episode until
Mhm.
the last bit where it really came crashing down
And then
in
you're
a
like,
way that I didn't
"Oh,
expect.
now I know what John's talking about."
Yeah, no, I knew you mentioned it to me. You told me I'd be hooked by the end of it, and I
Mhm.
do agree. At the end, I think if the episode didn't end the way it did, I wouldn't have been
You've been
as
just
sold on it,
yeah,
and I would have thought that this is kind of like this could have just been a season in itself, divided
right.
into episodes. And what's the real point of like making it into this 1 hour feature length like TV movie? But the way it ends, I think, has impact. It's very tragic. It's really
Yes,
tragic to
and
see your kids.
if it reminded me of there's a a visual novel called what the hell's there's a lot of visual novels that are messed up like that, where they show the character just slowly dying in front of you, and you, like, see the life, like, drain from their eyes, and that's, like, the double gut punch.
Yeah, the blood as well. I
Yeah,
mean,
that was brutal. You didn't
it
expect it?
was
Doki Doki Literature Club. I don't know if you ever played that, but I have
no,
that
no.
same feeling. So, spoilers for a really now old visual game. It's a point and click like adventure. It's like a dating sim. You're like, oh, cool, cool, cool. And then when like one of the characters just out of nowhere just hangs herself, and you're just like, the fuck, and it just comes out of nowhere, and it's got this like creepy, eerie music, and it had that same like vibe, and it like it made me choke up. It made my stomach in knots, and I'm just like the first time I watched it, it came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it. I was like, where's this going?
Yeah, no, it completely it's a complete curveball. You don't see it coming, and I think the way it was shot, I think for me, like the way they handle that, it's a very sensitive thing. Obviously,
Mhm.
any death in any story is sensitive, but the way they handled it, I think for me, what got me really was the fact that both her kids were literally on in her arms
Yeah.
while
Well,
dying,
her
and
Aqua was Ruby was on the other side of the wall. She never even got to see
yeah.
her mother die.
Oh yeah, true, true. It
She
was
was banging on
Aqua.
the door, and Aqua, he took it upon himself to protect his sister by not showing
Yeah,
her
yeah.
their mother
You
dying.
know, I think people forget sometimes how important of an impact one's childhood can have on them, especially when they, grow up and become adults. And I was just looking at Aqua's character and, how he becomes this kind of cold, stoic personality from that, from that death, from that incident, well, murder actually. And it really does say a lot about his character and his development, how he's kept his emotions completely logical. He
Closed off.
doesn't
He's a man
closed
on a
off.
mission. He's on a mission of revenge,
He's on a
witnessing
mission,
his
and to see that from such a young age, to know that,
right.
I will, well, obviously he has adult consciousness, but still the fact that every character has to lose something in order for them to have like a desire and a need to gain something, and this is that something that he loses again. Not the first time he loses his own life. This time he loses his one true love, who is in the form of his mother.
Right.
And what that does is it consumes him, really.
Mm.
It completely consumes his life, because if you look at it before the death, he's actually got a really promising start as a actor, as a child actor,
That, and
and
he's already a doctor.
he's already a doctor. But like more than that, I think they're leaning into his acting side, and
Yeah, yeah, because he's a child actor being a creepy kid because he has the mind of an adult.
Yeah, so it comes so naturally to him anyways.
And you see
It
little Kana.
Yeah, yeah, and, this is where I think it's nice to see that they leaned into that a bit because otherwise it would have been a complete waste just to see them grow up because
Yeah.
they all whatever they set up in that first episode does come back in the rest of the show.
Yep.
So
Because
I guess it ended in a really impactful way that makes you curious
with
about the rest of the
with
season.
I saying Aqua, will you become an actor? And Ruby, will you become an idol? Like that, like set them on their way.
Yeah, it kind of did. It kind of did. It's it's kind of a life defining moment for them early on that makes them aware of what they need to do, what they're pursuing in this life. And then there's a bit of a time skip, and then we go on to the rest of the season, which is like 20-minute episodes. It's 11,
And
10 episodes.
the soundtrack, 10 out of 10. The opening and the ending song, holy fuck.
I like the outro
song,
a
The
lot.
Idol. Yeah, the outro is awesome. The intro is
The
awesome and the
outro.
outro is awesome. The intro
I'm
is
more
so
I'm more of the
awesome,
outro.
and
Yeah.
I am too. But the Idol, the opener is catchy,
Yeah.
terrific. You really see what enchants these fans. It really is, it's I dancing. It's all this, and then an introduction of all the characters. This song was such a banger that it topped the Billboard Global 200.
Global
Which
200.
is unheard of for anime music.
Wow.
There's only a couple of songs that have gotten anywhere even close. And I think the last one was K-pop Demon Hunters, so
I swear I read the song from Chainsaw Man's trending too, but I could be
probably.
wrong.
I haven't heard it yet, but when I do, I'll let you know. I'm sure I'll love it. Because I loved the Chainsaw Man, the season one. Yeah, that outro is a banger too. I left it running every time the episode ended because it was giving me so much hype for the next episode, and I had to wait a whole goddamn week for that, and I was so fucking hyped.
It's so cheesy to end like this is sort of a thing that shows used to do back in the day where they'd always end the episode with that same classic outro, which would like sink in with whatever the moment is in the final moments of the episode.
Yeah,
I don't see you don't see a lot of shows do this anymore because it's like obviously now everything's trying to be more cinematic and everything. But I like that it does because it has a nice quality to it.
If you got a banger song, use it.
Yeah. It's catchy for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's in my playlist. Both of them are.
I bet. Yeah.
The ending of the first episode, it leads you into the mystery. Who's Aqua's father? Will we find out this season? Will we find out next season or this season after that?
So I guess we forgot to add like the big hook to it is it wasn't just entirely a senseless murder because even when the guy murders, even when the deranged stalker murders her, she still, I don't know how, because she's so empathetic, remembers him, remembers this
by
man
his name.
by his name, and remembers him showing up to all the events and everything, and that completely, shatters this character because he doesn't expect that. He thinks she's just like
he kills himself after that.
He does, but he thinks she's a selfish woman for wanting to have kids and being with someone. Implying that it's
someone who's not him.
Yeah, and it completely ruins him. But the fact that she remembers him even after what he does completely shatters him to the point where he commits suicide from it because obviously the guilt of it overrides everything. But it isn't entirely just this is a completely senseless act. There is a sinister angle to it because I think Aqua finds out that the address was leaked to this particular fan. Now, the mission really is who leaked the address, and everything points towards who the father could be. And there's a connection with the father, the biological father, which he doesn't know the identity of. So I think that really, as a hook, sets up the main mystery of the show.
Mm-hmm. Cue outro music. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun. It really is a banger. Pause this podcast and go check it out. Go check out the ending song for Oshi No Ko Season 1. It is a banger.
There's one episode where I really liked the way they implemented the song. It was that episode where Akane is nearly gonna like jump off the bridge. One of the characters in the show later on.
Okay.
And he literally Aqua just jumps in and saves her, stops her from killing herself.
Yeah.
And the music plays, and I'm like, this is perfect. This is like
this is hype.
time.
It's the song's called Manifesto. Mephisto.
Oh, okay.
Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Not Manifesto. Okay. Mephisto, which is like Faust and all the demons from like folklore and all that stuff. Yeah, that tracks. Yeah, no, that scene is gut wrenching too, because they're on a TV show together. Like it's like one of those rom-com. Will they? Won't they? Gross, dumb bullshit that you'd watch.
Reality TV, yeah, which he only participates in because I think the producer of the show has a close connection to iSpost, and he's trying to gather more information because he's so good as an actor.
Right.
The producer wants him in this show and promises him that if you star in this reality dating TV show, I'll actually, give you more.
We'll have some sushi. We'll get some answers
about iSpost.
I want to take a second to talk about all like the technical explanations of industry.
Let's do it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of that stuff. Like, I'm not like crazy familiar with like how you make like a TV show or how you like direct a movie. Like, I understand that there's cameras and then there's a lot of people like working on it, but they go into like the details of like the camera angle or the cameraman or how the editing works. And I really enjoyed that. There's a couple other animes that have a lot of like good explanation, like in like the technical aspects. And when I saw that in the anime, I was like, oh, Adi would actually enjoy this part because I know you enjoy the technical stuff.
No, you're spot on. I think what was really refreshing for me, not a lot of animes, the realism in anime is always tricky, because while visually it can be realistic, thematically or in terms of like showing even slice of life can be a bit too romanticized sometimes. But what I really liked and found refreshing about this show is that it really taps into the idol culture set in Japan. And I thought it was contemporary enough to show you the behind the scenes of it all. And of course, the filmmaking and the industry bit, the whole thing with the agencies and how they deal with their models and their clients and the middlemen involved and all the management that takes place.
An idol isn't what it's all cracked up to be. It's not all roses.
No, because I think unlike I don't know, I've not seen many animes who really tackle this subject matter head on, but the fact that it does address, like I mentioned earlier, the parasocial relationship fans have with celebrities today through social media. I thought that was, again, very important to show. And I really liked it because it kind of really reflects, in a way, it really reflects what happens with the pressure they face and how much of an impression can be made up or destroyed within just one post or one moment captured on camera that goes viral. And it completely affects the lives of these characters who are just, end of the day, they may be models or they may be like beauty or idols or whatever, like, but they still have lives of their own. They still have like an inner, they're still vulnerable people. They still have, their own issues. And of course, they're going to be affected by how anyone would perceive them. So I really liked that. And I really liked how Aqua is he's such a, what do you call it? He's such a round, this
level-headed
round guy.
Yeah.
No, he's a round guy in a square peg. He just doesn't fit there.
Okay, he's a black sheep. Yeah,
he's a black sheep, but he's just not the type of guy who really you'd expect to see thrive in an industry like this because he just doesn't care. Like he doesn't
Yeah,
have
he
any.
really doesn't.
I mean, he gives up on his acting talent in order to take a behind the scenes role.
Yep.
I think after his mother's
Yeah,
death,
the
he approved
director
the.
from the movie that he was in as a kid, he goes under him as an assistant, so he can learn like editing and stuff. So he wants to like work behind the scenes so he can meet more people and all that stuff.
Yeah, but it's not all. It's not all just that. It's not just all about like being behind the scenes. He's also kind of a Machiavellian figure because he's intentionally scheming and making sure that Ruby, his sister, doesn't follow the same footsteps
As
as
I,
his mother.
yeah,
He's being deceptive. He's like,
Mhm.
you know, emailing her through all these fake aliases
Right.
from
He's
all these.
trying to not get her hired as an idol because he wants to be looking out for her. At
Yeah,
least
he
that's
wants to look out for her,
yeah.
but at the same time, it kind of feels weird as well. It's like he's so consumed by, of course, anyone would be, but he's
Well,
so
I think it's
impacted.
what it comes from is he doesn't want his sister to do the same thing that his mother did because it might end out the same way.
Yeah, but his mother didn't do anything wrong. That's what I
Well,
think he fails to
she got
understand.
pregnant.
Well, that's just life.
That's just I suppose. I suppose you're right.
But it's not like she intentionally, you know, in fact, the fact that kept I kept her
Yeah.
kids a secret, it shows that she is, you know, doing what she needs to do in order to maintain her professional career. It's just that whatever happened in a way that was obviously sinister and tragic.
Mm.
But I think the way it consumes his character is interesting. He kind of comes off as like a Hamlet type, you know, and I think his only purpose is to make sure that at first it's to make sure Ruby doesn't follow his mother's footsteps, but then once he comes to know that he could potentially find out who his father's identity is and
Mhm.
how that can lead to seeking answers to who led to the whole leak where the guy basically got her address and killed I think he's just like on a mission since to do whatever it takes,
Right.
if that means acting in whatever he needs to act in. And they get into this school, but he doesn't go into the acting program.
No, he goes the academic route, and then they meet a bunch of new characters, and they run into Kana again. They
Yeah.
find out that she was an adorable, cute bell pepper mascot when she was a kid. Kana's the
Yeah,
worst
and
girl.
Kana,
She hates bell peppers, though.
did you call her the worst girl?
She's the worst girl because she hates bell peppers. I like Kana, but then she said she hates bell peppers. I don't jive with that. And then I met the goddess Memcho. Long live Memcho. So she's like
I
a
knew you'd
YouTuber.
like them.
I have a figure of Memcho. God damn it. I don't like Figmas, but I have a Figma of her. I have an eye figure and I have her. They're not out of the box yet.
I
And
bet you're waiting.
yeah. And then they kind of like decide that they're gonna start a idol group, but in their agency. And then Aqua goes along with it because at least he knows that she's not gonna be taken advantage of because it's gonna be literally like their go to stepmom.
No, but more so because he can then leverage having an agency and using that to seek more information to
Mm.
find out like what could happen. This is where I do want to get into some quick criticisms with the show.
Sure.
So what I felt is years where the show kind of like does a lot of things. Okay, so you got the central mystery. You got like this guy comes off as like Aqua's kind of like the main character from Death Note. You know,
Oh, like
he's
light gimme
yeah, he kind of reminded me of Light Yagami a bit.
until he eats a potato chip.
Does he? I don't remember if he
No.
does.
Do you remember the scene from Death Note where he goes like, "I take a potato chip and I eat it"?
No, I don't remember.
Okay,
I've
maybe it's
watched.
a YouTube poop. I don't know, but
I don't
There's a
remember that.
dramatic scene of him eating potato chips when he's like killing people with the Death Note. Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. It's because there's
I
like a
want to watch
video
this scene.
camera. Yeah, go watch Death Note. At least the first
Okay.
season. It's great.
Well, I watched it ages ago. I mean,
Yeah.
might revisit it sometime
Yeah.
soon because considering it's still a seminal anime
Yeah, it's
gateway to the
still
West.
a good gateway anime. It was one of my first.
Yeah, no, I mean, sorry, Aqua does come off as like this type of character figure. He's kind of an anti-hero,
Mm,
not necessarily like good guy protagonist. But, I'm more invested in the show when I get to see what he's trying to do
yeah.
and him navigating through this industry, trying to like leverage his good looks and his acting skills in order to get close contacts with the producers and, all these other things that are going on. I was really interested in that. In fact, I felt like I wanted more. I wanted to, I really wanted to get more into the mystery of it all, more into
Mm,
like how Aqua is going to navigate through this. But at some point, what happens is the show does pick on some other plot threads with the new characters that get introduced, and I
yep.
think that the show becomes kind of a slice of life
Yeah,
at point about
sure
like
does.
Idol. You get introduced to like all these other characters like Akane and like Memcho and
The
Kana
great
and
you mean Memcho, the greatest awesome lady of awesome?
there's another character I don't remember her name. Is it Yuki or
Oh
she's
god.
like she's like the character who Akane like scratches her
Oh
face.
yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
She's
think
kind of a
that is
big
Akane,
deal.
isn't it?
No, Akane is the one who
Oh yeah,
scratches.
Akane is the one that scratches it. Yeah, it was some like
Yeah,
model, and she's like,
yeah,
and the funny thing is because she does that, she feels so bad after like all of the cyberbullying she gets that's
yeah,
when she wants to jump off the bridge.
yeah. I think that was like I must say like that bit was perhaps one of the only interesting thing I found from that whole dating show arc because
Yeah, no, it
I
definitely
was
is.
really not invested in like it does get a bit like tries to get a bit like soapy and shit. There's
Yeah.
like moments of like irreverence with comedy and all that's fine because it's anime end of the day, but I wasn't really invested in that. I think at some point there's like this emphasis on the B-Komachi group, which is I's group, and these three girls who's Ruby and Kana and
Yep, Ruby, Kana, and Memcho want to start B-Komachi again. It's been 15, 20 years later, and they want to do it again.
yeah, they want to do it again, and it's like
And they're the same agency, so they can. And they have a catalog of songs they could use.
yeah, they have the rights, so they have the rights
And
to the
and it's funny
original.
because only one of the trio actually has singing chops, and then they find out it's Kana because she had like a singing career that kind of went nowhere because she didn't sell any records.
Yeah, yeah. Now, when the themes of the show focus on like you know the harsher side of celebrity life,
Mhm.
the unhealthy fan obsessions, or how manipulative the industry can be with the directors and the brutal like internet judgment. Whenever it's all these themes that the show addresses, I think the show does it really well. Like that's the
Mm.
stuff I want to watch because that's something new. Well, it's new in a sense that not a lot of shows, at least in anime, would explore themes like that. Like I don't think I've seen many shows that do that. So whenever it was about that side of the industry, I really like that. I was really invested,
Right, you're
especially how
locked
that
in.
affects. Yeah, I'm really locked in, especially how that affects like Akane, for example. Like at first, I wasn't really like invested in this character. I think like
Right.
you could argue some characters are there, but
Yeah, I
what,
don't think I
what
really get invested in Akane until she learns that Aqua's dream girl is I, and then her eyes turn all sparkly, and then you find out, oh no, it's literally a face she's putting on, and Aqua's, he's like transfixed, like he's not even acting, like he's like, whoa.
it's so creepy because like it's so unnatural, and the way she becomes that, the way she tries to like, get infatuated by him is literally when after she's kind of self-conscious about her own image, and after scratching that competitor in the show, she gets a ton of hate online, right? Everyone's shading on her for her behavior. She puts up a post to like light off the fire, but it just ends up adding more fuel to the fire.
True.
Everyone's more upset on social media. Everyone's harshly criticizing her. Her own agency group is worked up about it, so it clearly goes off proportion, and it literally leads her to depression that she's about to commit suicide and jump off a bridge, until you get that epic ending where Aqua stops her and saves her in the storm.
Dun-na-na, and then
But
he pulls some bullshit out of his ass
he
to
does. He pulls a lot
save her
of
in the show. Like, so he does like some like crazy. So he gets the clips that
PR. It's
yeah,
called PR, publicity
yeah,
stunt. That's what it
yeah. He
is.
does a
I mean,
publicity stunt to save face, to
oh
make
yeah,
it so they don't all hate her. And then they show
and
like
and
right
that just
after that
shows how
happened.
gullible. It just
Yeah,
shows how gullible people are on social media. The fact
yeah,
that
yeah. They are.
like people do this all the time. Like it's just like you don't even need to go do a degree on like PR or marketing, because you just look at the way people interact on social media. It's so easy to like influence people to change their
True.
minds or something. And hype and clout is like it's like wildfire.
Mhm.
It's like it's so interesting that the show does explore that side of things, because I think that's what we need more than the cheesy soapy shit that a billion other animes do every time, and you could get by without it perfectly fine. But in this case, like after he rescues her, she gets like obsessed over wanting to like be with him and get his attention, but she realizes that he's just not really into her like that. you know?
Nope. And the only reason why they're like together, it's got to be his way or the highway.
Yeah, and it's also convenience for the show and the storytelling in the dating show. But more importantly, like when she finds out what his type is, which is literally
Mhm,
that's his type. He's into his mother, like
mhm,
straight down from the looks. She
mhm.
transforms. It's so creepy because she like puts up a face. I don't know what she does, but she tries to come across as and it clearly
She
works
copies
to
her
a
mannerisms because she's a student of acting.
yeah, yeah, and it does somewhat like trans.
Yeah,
It
it
hits Aqua in a state of trance in a bit, because he's like, oh fuck, like this is like this is like my mother. Or oh wait, she's not my mother. She was an idol I was into.
right,
And then there's one scene where like Ruby says that her one true love is that doctor.
right.
Uh, because she also remembers her past life,
Yep.
but she doesn't know that Aqua is the doctor and she was
Honestly, I
the.
hope they never find out.
But it's so creep. Like it's. Do you see what I mean by how
I do
problematic?
see what you mean. I don't agree,
It's
but I do
so
see what you mean.
problematic. It's so
Yeah,
problematic that the characters are it's kind of incest level wrong, and I don't know. It's funny to me. It's
that
just
they're both
funny.
in love
Like
with their mother.
yeah, and she's in love with him, literally the brother, but she doesn't know that the
Right.
brother is the doctor she's in love with from the previous life. It sounds weird to even
Hopefully,
speak
they never
about,
find out.
like,
Otherwise, we're gonna have problems. And
but I just
Ruby's
think
gonna start getting those black stars in her eyes.
I mean, well, the show could go in any direction, to be
Right. That's the best thing about it. That's why I watch it every time it airs. Like the second season, I watched it week to week. And when this third season comes up, it's gonna air this month in January. Guess who's gonna be watching it in Japanese? This guy.
Oh, I bet you will. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, the show is clearly popular.
It's good.
Um, but there are some things that I don't really that I didn't really get into, and that again, bringing up Ruby, she just doesn't do much for me as a character, even
Yeah,
as a side
she's
character.
annoying. she's
Her whole I think the show puts too much time in like trying to show her
Mhm.
wanting to become an idol, and it's just not interesting.
Mm.
It's just not as interesting as for example, who you get brief
Hey,
flashbacks of like
I do like their
what.
performance. I do like their performance on stage as B-Komachi. I did like them.
Okay, well, I it didn't do that much for me, but like it was more like you compare that to the bar set up by and it's just not the same.
Right.
Like even the flashbacks where they show and they're trying to figure out like, oh, what was she like back then when she began in the industry? Even all those snippets were far more interesting
Mm.
than the stuff they tried to show with Ruby and her
Mhm.
like trying to make her an idol and all that. Like all that
Mhm.
stuff doesn't. And what pissed me off about that was you really don't get much of Aqua and his
Mhm.
main mystery storyline about finding out who did it, because essentially the show's like, oh yeah, we'll give you more answers to Aqua about her mother's connection with her father or whoever only after he does this dating show. So
Right.
until then, you're just gonna have to wait and see all these other side stories occur. And granted, some are really interesting, like the thing that happens with the cyberbullying and everything.
Yep.
But then by the end of the season, you really don't get much development. You don't really get to see much. Even the conversation he has with the producer doesn't really tell you much about who the father could be. He just figures out that whoever it could be is linked to the same group she started it
Yep.
in before she joined B-Komachi.
Yeah, yeah, an
Which
acting troupe.
an acting, yeah, the acting group called La La Lee or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
But
That's the
I don't
second
know.
season. Ah!
I just think it's a missed opportunity.
Okay.
Look, I don't expect them to solve the whole case in the first season, because obviously if
But
they
it
do
kind of
that,
feel
then what's the
rushed.
point of yeah, and also what's the point of then, having other seasons? I don't know if this is based on a
It is. It is.
ongoing manga or if
Yeah.
it's complete, but I felt like they could have done a bit more with that for sure. It just feels like it got kind of pushed in the background so that I don't know. It's something that I think really does more for the show than it does when it leads to the other side of things. But that was like one gripe I had. And the thing with that is it's not even a gripe, because the show does this thing where it tries to do a lot with the season. It picks up like all these other plot lines, and they're not
Manga
bad plot lines.
is completed.
Yeah, no. It's not like bad plot lines. It's just it gets to a point where you kind of pick too much, and you can't end of the day cut your own cake and eat it too. So
Mhm.
I just feel like they could have probably, I don't know, yeah, what sort of choice they had with the script and the way they could have structured it, but I wish there was a bit more like emphasis on the main storyline.
Okay.
You know, a bit more development on that would have been interesting. Well, far more rewarding
Mhm.
experience. But that doesn't take away from the other things the show does well, like the whole industry stuff that I was talking
Mhm.
about earlier.
Yeah, it's great. Weird question time. Adi, have you ever performed on stage?
I have. I'm pretty sure I have. Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, not for like a paying audience, but
Right,
yeah.
right, right. Yeah. I did when I was a kid in like middle school. So I was a bit of a little actor. It's normal to be nervous before going on stage. And whenever when I was in middle school, we'd all sit in a circle and we would squeeze each other's hands to like get the nerves out. And if you don't feel those nerves before going on stage, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, and it was I think technically a paying audience because all the funds would go back into the production to like pay for like the lights and all that stuff and the costumes.
Yeah. Well, stage fright is real, you know.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
people
no, it
suffer
is.
from it.
And even like recording like the podcast, I'm sure like the first time you're a little
Oh yeah. Holy shit.
and you know
I don't want to even
me.
I don't want to even look back on that.
Yeah. Yep. Fallout never happened. Our
Never
hidden
happened.
episode
Never happened.
never happened.
No, I mean, but you know, that's one of the good things about having doing work that you present to someone else
Mhm.
outside is that you get to see that development you have because you know you could just be doing it for yourself. You know, you could
Right.
just do something that is rewarding for yourself, but I think it's more rewarding when you get to see how you can impact other people with what
Mhm.
you contribute. And I think that just goes with everything. And pop culture and idol culture is kind of like that too. You know,
Mhm.
it's a relationship. Ironically, it is a relationship you have with even your fans who you may not like ever see or meet
Right. Do the meet
or
and
have a
greet where
conversation.
they shake their hand for 5 seconds so they pay a
Yeah,
ticket.
it made me think like, you know, you may listen to like so many other podcasts or you may like
Mhm.
watch the films of so many other actors or filmmakers and you probably will never meet them. And
Mhm.
sometimes that's a good thing. You know what they say, don't meet your heroes.
Oh my god.
But more often than not it's not a bad thing. But the good thing is like you kind of do have a connection, you know, with them. Even if you don't actually physically meet them because you're
Right.
still like engaged with their work. So I think
Mhm.
it's kind of a cool thing that the show leans into that.
Yep, I agree. Do you have any other thoughts on Oshi No Ko, or would you like to go into final thoughts?
Let me see. No, we could go into final thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I covered most of the stuff I wanted to talk
You
about.
want me to you want me to
You
go
can go
first?
first because you know I'm just going to give it a standing ovation.
Yeah. So I think looking back on it all, reflecting back on it all overall, it's kind of a show that you want to be in a particular mood to watch. And I say this because the show's not designed outright to be a slice of life kind of thing, even though that's what it does at some points. I think the show really is intelligent and is really trying to say something about a specific industry today. So I really liked the way that first episode, now looking back on it retrospectively, I think the first episode just gets better and better as the season progresses because it sets up such a high bar with that ending with Ai's character. I think she's arguably one of the best characters in the show, even though she's only in it for like,
90 minutes
well,
and some
yeah,
flashbacks.
some flashbacks. Yeah, but her presence is so, she
Yeah.
really does have
Yeah, no,
the
she's a real
aura
character.
of she has, yeah, she's a real character and her presence affects the rest of the story in profound ways. And what I want to say is like the good it's a good thing, but the problem is it's being a murder mystery and revenge story and a slice of life idol and entertainment industry show. So it's doing three different things, but the problem is one of them don't always mesh well with the other.
Mhm.
When it's about the murder mystery and the industry and and the idol culture, that bit is really invigorating. It's really interesting to watch because again, it's kind of capturing a sense of realism which is fictionalized, but you can really like lean into it and look at today and be like, oh shit, like, you know, this shit's happening for real. And the bit where it goes slice in life is where I didn't really enjoy it that much. I think the comedic moments are nice. There's also too many attempts to like make it a rom-com thing where they're
Mhm.
trying to ship like the whole thing with Kana and Aqua, I could not care about. I
Right.
found it really I just didn't think it really adds much to the story. Like
Yeah, she's
I know they
tsundere.
set it up.
I don't like you or anything,
I don't
Baka.
care. I don't care. But I don't
Yeah,
care about
I
her.
get that.
I mean, they set it up in the first episode when they're literally co-stars as kids, and that comes back, and she develops feelings for him over time when he comes back. But I just think that dynamic, that relationship goes nowhere. Even that episode where he dresses up as one of those other characters with a bird's mask,
A really high
just
voice.
like yeah, that was like, I mean, okay, it's funny to show that this guy, he's a shifty guy. Like he's pretty clever when it comes to like using his acting abilities to his disguise.
Right.
But like stuff like that really doesn't do much to me. I know some fans enjoy stuff like that, like they love the comedic moments, and I'm not against slice of life. I just think that there's points where this is where like screen time could have been dedicated more to like some of the plot that could add more mystery, or the revenge dynamic, or the industry dynamic, which I think the show does so well. So that was like my only main gripe with the narrative and some of the characters, but it still manages to be a really well written and entertaining show. But I don't think it quite lives up to the bar it sets up in that first episode for me. I think that first episode really carries a lot of the show. And it's a good thing because you want your show to start off like that. Now, granted, I haven't seen the second season, so I can't really, maybe this is where you can lean in and tell me how the second season differs or whatever. But, I'll give this. So there's a scene where after the B-Komachi group in the last episode, they have the show, they perform. Aqua comes in as a cheerleader, tries to like, you know, egg them on and get over the finish
glow
line.
stick dance. Yeah.
Glow stick dance. He really tries to be a cheerleader and like gets Kana to like, really perform well. And then in the car, they ask him like, "So what do you think of the show?" And he was like, "It's all right." And they're like, "What do you mean it's all right?" And he's like, "Well, you're gonna have better performances in the future. So if I give you good marks now, you're not gonna clearly live up to that." So I think that's such a true thing, looking back on this show, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. And I think it's got potential to be better.
All right.
But I'll take the stoic Aqua route, and I'll ground it a bit and be temper it a bit. But you can hype it up. I mean,
hype. Hype. Oshi No Ko is hype. Every week, every goddamn week, I heard that dun-dun-dun-dun at the end of the episode. I was just like, let's go. Like I was
might just need to get the rights to that song to put it in the outro now.
Right. Probably pretty fucking expensive. Oshi No Ko is one of my current favorite anime. It's up in the running. In fact, with this viewing, it has a chance to dethrone one of my top 5. Which one? We'll find out. It ain't gonna be Fooly Cooly, and it ain't gonna be Panty and Stocking. I like this story, especially the mystery stuff. The mystery stuff is just delicious. I like a lot of the characters. Kana, you lose marks for not liking bell peppers because it's my favorite vegetable or fruit or whatever the fuck it is. It's got seeds, it's the vegetable. Memcho, glory to Memcho. I'll start a religion all about Memcho. The music, the intro song's awesome. The outro song is such a goddamn banger. Spoilers for Oshi No Ko Season 2. The banger music intro and outro. Not really spoilers, I'm trolling. Will Aqua's heart be lost in the black abyss of his revenge? In seasons to come, we will find out. That's why I like this show, because I'm going to keep watching until it ends. The manga's over, so we will eventually get a finite end. The show is really popular. A lot of people are watching it. I'm going to be watching this the next season. Pretty goddamn hyped. 10 out of 10. Cinema.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Well, I do want to say I didn't mention. I think I forgot to. I kind of underestimated undermined the technical quality of the show. I do agree that the visuals and the framing and
it's drawn
music
well.
is it is good.
Funny because the studio that drew this is known for Himoto Omaru-chan, which is a slice of life comedy show that looks like ass. The show looks awesome. Yeah, it's done by Dogo Kobo, the anime studio. They've known for doing a lot of slice of life.
Yeah.
Yuri, just a bonus.
Oh, maybe. I mean, you got to get, well, then in that case, you got to give them credit. If they're a studio just known for doing slice of life, then I think they've
done Gabriel Dropout.
They're done. For them to then touch something like this, I mean, it does take effort. I mean, I know you meant like you love the mystery. I just wish there was more of it.
Yeah, there will be in future seasons. Keep watching it. I know you got a million things to watch, Adi. Check out season 2. Maybe we'll come back on this. And on that note,
maybe season 2 will convince me. You never know.
Maybe season 2 will convince you. Maybe season 2 will be your 10 out of 10 or your 8 out of 10 or just every season it just gets one more point. It just keeps getting better. Just keep asking more questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to go eat some bell peppers. See you, Space Cowboy.